Welcome to 1407 Great Malkin Lane. This is the living memory of the X-Men. All right, today, it's special. Okay, it's a special day. It's a sad day, but it's a special day. We reached the climax of the Hellfire Gala. Like that's been on just hitting heights all throughout, and it ended on a really. We're gonna get into it, but first we're gonna bring our very special guest of Power of X-Men podcast. He goes by the name of the Mighty Dayspring. I'm bringing you. Let's get it. Let's go. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing fine. I love the Mighty Dayspring so much. Thank you for that.
Hey. I gotta bring you on. All right, I got.
I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that because I've been saying
the mighty.
The mighty right there.
The
How are
mighty.
you?
Nobody brings that up anymore. Only Thor uses that. Mighty.
Oh,
It's
I know.
it's it's humble, but it tells you a lot. Okay.
I love it, man. Thank you again for having me. I've been such a fan of yours these last few weeks when we've connected. Like your videos, your energy, everything. Like, thank you. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying. I see what you're doing. Like I'm trying to get like you. All right,
You're
you're doing everything, man. Like
you're light years ahead. Trust me. It's a miracle if I don't have like 8 glasses of wine when I record.
hey, whatever you need to do to get through it, okay? Because there have been a few years where it was needed. It was necessary. I mean, oh, X-Men Blue. What was that all about?
Oh my God, X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold. Thank God we had X-Men Red.
X-Men Red was, yeah. See, X-Men Red showed me that only a Summers can have Namor fall in line. Scott did it. Jean did it. Xavier and Magneto can't. Just saying. Like patterns.
How salty was he in that issue of the Hellfire Gala where he's here like, I own 70% of this planet. I don't care about this island. It's like, you were on Utopia. You do care about an island.
Man. We talked about this. We talked about this in our communique. I would have gone a little ratchet. I would have been like, "Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" Like, really, I would have been like, "Really, you're gonna talk to me about having a little island? You're into Sue Richards? Ew." She's not even fine. Like, look at her. Look at her. Sorry, Sue. Collateral damage, okay? You know what it is. You know what you did. We know what you did with Franklin, okay? We all know. And also, that whole thing that you did with Johnny, like, yeah, you need to get your house in order. Just saying.
It's funny. There's a guest who's on Power of X-Men quite a bit called Amanda Martini, and she has said that no one fucks with Sue because she's married to Reed, and they're like, damn, if she can put up with that, she can put up with anything. Which I thought was hysterical. But yeah, Sue as a character, I've never really thought much of her. There was this like X-Men Fantastic Four crossover back during the Astonishing era, the X-Men Reloaded era. And she was kind of like buddy with Emma for like a split second. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like her there. And then since then, Civil War, I thought she shined in Civil War. I was happy for her in Civil War.
Yeah, but Sue was kind of like a fake friend. Like she's cool sometimes. She's cool. Like Civil War, she was awesome. I mean, the fact that she left her husband based on principle, on ideology, I totally respect it. But she's a great mom. She's a great member of the team. But the way she low-key controls her family, like, it's really gross.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that like she plays the victim. Oh, Reed doesn't pay any attention to me. Really? If you leave then. If you were like it just seems you're just talking. And the whole thing with Namor, like come on, you know, like you're doing that to piss Reed off, and you know he doesn't care. He doesn't
Yeah.
care. He's like, do it. I don't care. It's all right. All right, get into it.
Get into it.
All right. From the Hellfire Gala all the way, just from the beginning to the end. Like, how did you feel about it? I mean, like, it was like that. Marauders was kind of a. I thought it was kind of like a light teaser. Like, I felt a little robbed, but
I
then
feel
after
the same exact way.
right,
Yeah.
just and Tony Stark just being a douchebag. Just it made me not like Tony Stark. Like, go away.
Yeah, I didn't dislike Tony too much in that interaction with Kid Omega, because Kid Omega himself like sometimes needs to be checked,
Fair.
but that's fine. Like I get it. So I agree wholeheartedly with what you said about Marauders, because like I felt like I read that first issue and I was like, oh no, like I just found out everything, and was that it? And because I'm such a like I read so intensely any issue I'm given that I'm like, oh, that's it. This is a story. I was like, what? They just blew over this entire thing, and then obviously once I was done, I was like, no way. They're probably obviously going to go back and they're going to start, filling in all the rest of the issues. I've liked the Hellfire Gala quite a bit. I think the X-Men needed a party. I think they needed something like this. Um, I love that the Fantastic Four and the Avengers just showed up in uniform, because why wouldn't they dress up nicely? I'm just like, you're for the Fantastic Four, you're Marvel's first family. Why
Right.
aren't you wearing something like big? The Avengers, I get it. It's Captain America. He's drinking milk at the Hellfire
Sure.
Gala.
Sure.
Like, of course. Although that scene with him and Emma,
Oh, I love when Emma gets like, when she gets like she's actually shocked. It's a really funny thing that happens. Like, it's priceless. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Captain Rogers.
well, here's the thing. When she's here, like, oh, I remind him of his mother. I'm like, who was his mother? I don't know who Captain America's mother is. I've never really thought
Oh,
about the character in the comics.
she's a nice
But
lady, I guess.
but but like Emma reminds him of her. Like, she must have been a like, I don't know. Like, Emma is a certain type of character, and to think that Steve's mother could have been like that, I'm like, that's an opportunity for a story I'm down to see.
Would it be really funny if you found out that like Rogers is related to Emma through that? Like, she's like his great. He's like her great uncle or something.
Oh my God! Well, because it's Hickman's era of X-Men. Like, there's seeds being planted everywhere, and is that a seed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It, it's
We were talking with. I'm sorry to interrupt. We were talking with Cy Spurrier a couple of weeks ago, and he said something that I thought was really interesting. Everything in the X books right now, they're seeing it as an opportunity to do something like called Claremonting, which is you have a scene and you throw in 1,000 Easter eggs, and you let another writer eventually come in and source them. And I'm like, okay, maybe. And so now when you just said that in this discussion, like, maybe Emma and Steve, maybe there's something there that another writer is going to pick on it. Someone purposely planted it there.
hey, yeah, hey, I love it. All right, I feel like this is what the X-Men need. Like, every like do the Claremont thing. Have him do a really long run, and then he'll leave for like 3 decades, and you just use everything else. But this requires writers to actually do research and to be fans, because I don't think most writers on the X-Men, like, they're real fans. I think they pick and choose what they like, as opposed to like liking the entire thing, because like you gotta like the entire thing. You gotta love the crust. It's a love affair. You gotta love the ends of the bread, not just the middle. You gotta like both. You gotta eat them
I
both.
I agree with you so much with that statement. And I've often thought about that. Like, I've ruminated. I'm like, what if, because you always put yourself in a scenario, right? Where you're like, what if I wrote X-Men? And like, then you start humanizing the entire editorial process. And you're like, well, I could write a book about Jean because I'm a crazy Jean Grey fan. But
Right.
I, but like, if it was another character, like, Megan, for example, who I don't have that intimate knowledge of. How do you go about writing that? And that's where you think that, at least editorially, there's an editor who has your back on it. But I will say, I think what the X Office is doing so well right now is that they're all on the same page, and they have an X-Men Slack, and they
Yeah.
are all on it, and they do like regular Zoom calls and everything. So I just think with Jordan D. White, who's, you know, the senior X-Men editor now, and Hickman, and like the writers they have, like Teenie Howard, Leah Williams, Cy Spurrier, Vita, like I
Gary
feel like
Dugan. Yeah.
Gary Dugan, like I'm really happy with the Office now. Even if the story doesn't jive with me 100%, I can be like, they're on the same page, and they're turning out really good storytelling.
Absolutely. Okay, going on to the next part, which is actually Wilberforce. I mean, X. No, it's the same book, really. Wolverine and X Force are the same book. They like they try to say, oh, every Wolverine story is an X Force story, and it's fine, I guess. It's fine, but it's the weak one. It's Beast. We know that he's getting very arrogant. But ugh, like, what is with Marvel? They have this issue with intelligence being evil. Like, if you're really smart, you're gonna go bad at some point because you don't have morals. Which
Well,
is weird.
it's personal for me because I fucking hate Beast, and I hate his. Oh my god! Wait, can I cuss on this?
No, yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I fucking hate Beast. He is a sociopath. What the fuck was he wearing to the Hellfire Gala? That pouch around
What
his
was
like crotch
Iceman
area?
wearing at the gala? Okay, what was those ice weights? Okay, what was that all about?
That's not even mobile. Yeah, we were speaking with Cena Grace about that, and you know, Cena had a couple, and I just dropped the episode today.
Nice.
Yeah, I think most people would think that like Bobby would wear something a little bit more conservative. However, Cena said this, and I thought it was really, really insightful, which is if people think it's hot and they're embracing it, and they think that Bobby can wear an ugly outfit every so often, you know, but he's totally in control. Great, fair, but. You know, with the X Force issue, I'm going to be honest with you. X Force was one of the books when Dawn of X kicked off that I loved. I was obsessed with it. I loved Black Tom. Everything was into it. I'm sort of on autopilot with it right now. And so this last the Hellfire Gala issue, I was just like, okay, sure. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I thought the art was lovely. I thought the Sage and Emma interaction was really great.
That
But
was really
I was like, fuck you, moving on.
see, I'm with you on that. Like X4, but there were a couple of really cool things. Like
Yeah.
there's little pieces I wish they would acknowledge, like how Sage is one of the original class of students.
Yes, she
No
is.
one
She
talks
never
about
gets
it.
acknowledged for that. Never gets acknowledged for that.
They treat Sage like a stepchild, and it really infuriates me. I'm like, wow, you can remember those 4 kids that got killed on Krakoa, but you can't remember Sage? What?
And not only that, Xavier planted her in the Hellfire Club when she was still a young pupil, and she did Xavier's dirty work for her since day one. And she does
Yeah,
not get the acknowledgement that she deserves. Agreed.
never.
Hard agree there. I knew we were going to be BFFs.
It's just also okay. The whole thing with this, all right. A few things X Force has really done for me. One, it showed me that Jean is really not about that life. She
Yeah.
says she's about that. She ain't about that life. Made me like Omega Red. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
like Omega. I'm like, bro. Like I just like, come on, like I feel like I want to go to him and like, Wolverine's a dick. You'd be like, see, exactly. That's what I've been saying. Like, dude, why he jump you with his kids? That's weird. Like, why would you do that? Like, and then they gave Colossus, they gave him a perp walk for questioning.
I
Questioning. Who does?
it Yeah, it's an interesting era to say the least. And I'm gonna be with you. You know, like X Force, I thought it was a really strong opening story. I loved it a lot. Again, I think the writing is great. I think the art is beautiful. The story just wasn't jiving with me on some levels. But apart from disliking Beast, I think the stuff with Kid Omega is hysterical. That he's like the Kinney of of the X-Men that's always dying. Um,
It's
I
so cool.
I think Sage needs more stuff to do. But I thought the real breakout star for me when I was reading it, and I was like, oh, I'm thoroughly enjoying this because this is a character I never really bonded with, was Black Tom. I think Black Tom Cassidy I really like seeing him sort of at the helm of the security for Krakoa.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I like, and I okay. Also, this series to me just shows that Wolverine should not give anybody any type of advice because Beast took it he took it way out there because in issue 1 he said Wolverine said um, we're always going to have predators. They're always going to be predators. You always, like when you're in a safe place, people it makes you soft, it makes you fat.
Yeah.
And like, and Beast is like, okay, I'm watching everybody. I'm like, what? Stop talking to people, okay?
Well, shocking. Beast hears something, thinks it's a good idea, and then runs with it in the opposite direction. And sorry, I love Dark Beast. By the way, Dark Beast is probably one of my favorite characters,
So fun.
especially out of Age of Apocalypse. But this Beast, I'm like, bro, just like fucking embrace it. You're on the cusp of being a villain. But um, the other thing I wanted to mention too about when you mentioned Wolverine and Jean, I mean that scene at the end of which issue was it? Was it
Yeah,
issue like 7? I don't remember
yeah,
which issue.
the healing guarding scene.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
like
where they like Jean just gets into that lagoon with him, and it cuts away. I was like, okay, so we're there. I mean, it's not. It's no
hey,
longer implicit. It's explicit.
it's like, hey, Gene does. Gene is able to. Okay, here's the thing. I think it's only an open marriage with them. Like Gene can have Wolverine or Scott, and
Hmm.
Scott can have Gene or Emma. That's it. It's like Emma. Emma's cool being a side chick. Okay,
Yeah,
and Wolverine, he doesn't care.
yeah. I'm
So
curious what they're doing with it, if they are gonna see that storyline to fruition and stuff like that. I know it's contentious online, and I think people have said their feels. I'm more of like I want to see where they want to go with this. Is this something going to be like that's just implied, and like we as a reader can take with it whatever we want, or are they going to have a story? Because here's the thing that I'm still confused about: are Scott and Jean married? Because Jean died, and she was legally dead. And is he still with Emma? How does he feel about Jean and Wolverine? Are him and Wolverine getting together as well? Like I just want some kind of like direction with that so I can start wrapping my head around it. But it's
we could
certainly
have we could have had all these questions answered in one issue. One issue, a beautiful issue. That was my only critique. Jean
yeah.
Grey, Emma Frost, giant size. They could have explained
I
everything.
instead
Every
they instead they
no
did the straight up homage to the Morrison psychic rescue. Instead, like I agree, I thought we were gonna get some resolution to that.
conversation.
And especially since we know when Jean died at the end of Morrison, she was in the White Hot Room and she
Right.
psychically pushed Scott and Emma to be together. So does she remember that? You know what I mean? Like, and there's things like that, and I kind of want Jean's take on the Scott Emma relationship because you know what? And again, I'm a crazy Jean Grey fan. Like I'm
Sure. Hey,
crazy.
Jean Grey
I
is
love
awesome.
Jean, but I'm
Hey,
a big fan of the Cyclops and Emma relationship. I thought those two characters did a lot of good for each other, especially during the utopian Messiah complex era. So,
yeah,
you know, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I feel like we are sharing the same brain because like I thought that's where we were going to get that story.
just something. But All right, moving on.
I know. I'm
Hellions.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You no. I've been wanting to talk about this. Hellions. Okay, Havoc needs to let it go. Let it go.
Mm.
Okay, first of all, Madeline crazy. Second, Madeline crazy. Third, uh, like if all right, you know what she said she wants to go to Krakoa and she wants to be part like she wants to burn it down. Like no, no,
Well,
no.
you know what I thought was well. So I am a huge Maddie stan, and I may have been one of those people who was livid when she died. But here's the thing that I think is really really interesting. When Havoc was talking about Maddie to Magneto, who was in the background sipping prosecco,
Mystique.
Mystique, and we know the Inferno is coming through her. I think she is going to somehow bring Maddie back. However, it is done. We can get into a fan theory about it, and I can be a WandaVision clown again. But I think Maddie is going to come back, and I think she is going to burn Krakoa to the
No,
ground.
my buddy Master Jarl. That's in
Yeah.
clothes. Why not look more? Because Madeline it doesn't bring anything useful. Because you got to remember the clones. I mean, all right, you got to remember the Cuckoos, the 5-in-1. They're all clones. Gabby was a clone. Like, granted, that's part of it. She's actually part of my infernal theory.
So
Yeah,
I think I'm so sorry.
yeah.
I think if you're on a council and they're like with Jean and Emma and Cyclops is a liaison there and they're like, should we resurrect Madeline Pryor? I can just see all three of them being like, nope, even though they
No,
don't have that. Nope, absolutely not. Even though they don't have that clone policy. But I think so. Zeb Wells, I spoke with Zeb Wells a couple months ago on the podcast. He said all of that is purposely murky because he wants the reader to be questioning the council on the Madeline Pryor situation. So no clones of Krakoa, but like there are the Cuckoos, there's Gabby, and then obviously New Mutants. They're like, no, it's only because Madeline was a bad person. It's like, well, you guys resurrect bad people like every day. You know what I mean?
these bad people are not trying to burn down the island.
Fair,
but
fair,
uh,
fair.
but also with Madeline, uh, she want okay. I really want to see the discussion, and I feel like it all would have came down to Jean. Everybody would like, hey, Jean, this is all you. Okay, she's your clone. Are you cool with it? Which I think I think this would have been a
Like,
really good
nope.
time for her to say, no, I'm the stepmom. She's okay. Because if you think about it, Jean Grey did the classic stepmom. Like she let Madeline go in there, have the kids, and then Cyclops threw out. She swooped right in. Boom. Like the kids look like her, so she gets like, oh, like she can lie to people like, oh, that's my son, knowing damn well that ain't her son. And it's part of my theory that because Jean Grey doesn't want to get pregnant. Think about it. Jean Grey has never been pregnant.
Have you ever seen that parody where they're like, it's like the floating hands cartoon, and they're like, well, we should note that Jean herself has never bore a child, and then Emma's like, and yet we have four. Like it's hysterical.
No, but here's the thing. You go clone, time displacement. Rachel doesn't really. All right, I love Rachel, but technically she doesn't exist. She's from the future. She like until she's actually born, she's just a thought.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to like jump on a different segue because I've thought about this before. Like, let's say Rachel dies. I mean, are they resurrecting mutants who have yet to be born? I mean, the answer is obviously yes, but like, I'm curious that moral conundrum hasn't come up. But
I mean, they brought back X Factor though when they all died during the Death Goddess thing, didn't they?
Yeah, and then are we talking about spoilers for today's?
Oh no. We're gonna get to that later. We're gonna get that
because something happens in the books today where an older version is back. So like I don't know. I'm curious. Here's the thing about X Factor, and we can get into X Factor eventually. But like I wanted some answers about resurrections that I have questions about.
They didn't. They gave us nothing. They really get. They gave us like, okay, this is the process.
Yeah.
These are the rules, but like rules are really. Dr. Nemesis needed to be on that book.
Oh, I
I feel,
agree. Agree.
and I really wanted. I thought X Factor was going to go on a little bit longer, and with because they were doing that whole clone farm thing, and I thought, okay, this is something Sinister. Sinister doing the exact same thing over
Oh, he is.
arcade. So I thought, okay, this would be like a really good crossover with Hellions and X Factor.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Hellions was so good.
I love Hellions.
Also, Sinister. I think there are two of them.
Yeah, I do too.
No, I know. I think the Sinister that we see, that's the good Sinister. That's the one that's kind of that's kind of playing with Krakoa, wants everything to work. And then the one that came back from Morocco, that's the classic Sinister, the one that's kind of messed up, and I kind of want to see again because he's crazy.
I agree. I 100% agree on that. Like, I think we're going to see that traditional creepy geneticist in that one that just came back from Morocco at the end of the last issue of Hellions. And then we've been dealing with a clone version. I'm a little confused with Sinister's history. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I completely understand it. Like, I know Hoxpox is like, Sinister isn't a mutant, but the clone of Sinister is a mutant, and he's made with Thunderbird's DNA. I'm like,
Right.
okay. And I'm sort of wrapping my head around everything with him, but I love the character. I think him and Nanny together, that is comedic genius. Like when Nanny like smashes that glass and like comes after him, I was like, yes.
I was like, seriously, I'm surprised nobody said like, you know what? I'm surprised it took this long for somebody to do this.
What, wait, do this like what? Like have Nanny and Sinister or?
Oh no, somebody to come after Sinister for what he is.
Oh.
Because
I agree.
Just said it. Okay, all right. I understand they need him right now, but I always thought, you know what? If I was on Krakoa, anytime Sinister would leave his house, I would be right there just to punch him in the face and just leave, and like he'd just be on the floor wondering like what just happened. I would have punched him a lot.
Well, here's the thing about Sinister that I'm profoundly confused about in his position on the council. Like after Ten of Swords, when his team came back and he murdered everyone, where was security on Krakoa to pick up on that? You know, presumably something, and then he's crying in front of the council, and even Emma's like, "Oh, I want to see this crocodile's tears," and you think like, oh, he's not pulling a fast one on them, but I actually think he did pull a fast one on them. And I don't know if they're aware of how shady he's been until the story comes into fruition. But if I'm on that council, I'll be like, this guy murdered his team. It's so obvious. You know?
Even the team was even like, how'd you get us killed? Like, all right, Hellions to me is kind of reminds me of the show Archer. It's just like
that's a great analogy.
So like when Grey Crow and Empath and Wild Child were all like, Havoc, watch the door. I was like, yes, this is exactly what would happen. So they would lock just like it really looked like Sinister was like, oh no. He was like, get the ass whooping he needs. Just say, oh hey Breck.
Hey Breck.
Hey. Okay, now we're up to the big ones. Planet Size X.
That was huge. I couldn't mind blown.
I don't understand why the humans are mad. I don't get it. Like they weren't doing anything with it.
Yeah,
it's like, when you're a little kid. It's like when you're a little kid and like you have a toy and you're not playing with it, and then like somebody else plays with it and he's like, hey, that's my toy. And you're like, that's mine. Like you weren't thinking about it. Like this is good for Earth. This means a lot of all those invasions can move from Earth to Mars. They took the target off their back. humanity really needs to understand that mutants benefit them. They benefit.
Well, and they were able to use mutant technology to make a planet habitable. That's
Right.
incredible.
In 20 minutes.
That's like, but I do understand. Here's the thing, and this is like a larger question. Like, what gives the X-Men or the Krakoans jurisdiction to colonize Mars? You know, for example, like I can see where like some governments would be like, well, could we have at least talked about this before you unveiled it at your fashion party? I get that. I get that. But that being said, though, I would be like, wow, the Krakoans have given us drugs to cure mental ailments and prolong life. And now they've taken a dead planet and made it viable. So, you know, I get it. The only thing about Planet Size X-Men that like I didn't quite like was how convenient the plot was with the Iraqi mutants. I forget how we address them, but like
Rocco, yeah.
the Iraqo mutants. I it felt like really Captain America drove all the way to the mansion just to have a conversation about that with, you know, Cyclops, and then it gets resolved so easily. That was the only thing I was like, oh, that's convenient, but I get it. These are stories. You need to push them along. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, whoa. And the Pepe Larraz art, gorgeous.
Man, they needed a trailer for that. They needed a Christopher Nolan trailer, like with voices, like put some money into it. Like it would work. Just also okay. The way they chose the X-Men, that was beautiful. It was so nice.
Oh my
and
God,
it showed
so
that Johnny Storm is an
Who did you
idiot.
vote for?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I like the Underdark. I went with Armor. Like she deserved it.
Oh, interesting. She did. Well, she's been on the X-Men before too.
Yeah, she was the new Kitty Pryde, and then people were like, "No, we like old Kitty Pryde." Like, no, but this Kitty Pryde is interesting. Like, Wolverine's not gonna like kidnap her and take her to Japan, where she gets in a feud with an ancient Japanese fighting god.
This is true.
He's done that twice, and no one said anything. Wolverine needs to be stopped. not around children or give people advice. He should be like a homeless guy sleeping on the couch. He should be like, ugh, why is that homeless person on the couch? Why does it smell so bad?
This is terrible. I love that read. No, I 100% agree on that.
It's like, it's just great. Yeah. Who did you vote for X-Men?
So I initially supported Sam because I was like, well, okay, you know, Krakoa has all these rogue agents on them. Like, we need someone who's going to fall in line and just do what they're told and have like the best interests of a nation and a government without any ulterior motives. And I thought out of the bunch, who I thought was a fantastic group, I just thought Sam was a little bit more of that Boy Scout figure. But then I ended up doing an episode with Jeremy Ratchford, who was Banshee in the Generation X TV movie from like '96.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so then I changed my tune and supported Banshee. So in the end, I supported Banshee, but I also Banshee has had no voice. I think he's only had like one or two lines. One of them being at the Hellfire Gala, especially with Emma in that Marauders issue. But we haven't had much of Banshee otherwise. So
I mean, he's been used as body as a bodyguard for Summoner during the beginning of X of Swords, but that was really it.
And he said nothing. And then they put him in the title page for the following issue, but literally all he does is rolls over on his back, and that's it. And then, I mean, because he came back during Necrosha, and even in Necrosha, he didn't say anything. He just said, "Oh God, Emma." And then Remender did try to do something with him. He didn't have much, and then he was obviously in the Uncanny X-Men, and then so I don't know, but I think he'll be in Marauders now, so it all worked out in the end.
Hey, I still think he's great from Generation X. He was a great lead. Like he was a teacher. He wasn't a leader.
Exactly. That's a really great distinction. He was a great teacher.
And also, if you look back on those old issues, Emma was just being a thirst trap, just messing with him. He's like, oh, I know he wants me. He's like, no, I know exactly what she's doing. and like their whole dynamic, you were like, oh yeah, they're gonna throw hands one day, and they did. Oh, okay. So, moving Excalibur. You know what? The UK, Britain is openly racist. Wow,
Yeah,
that's refreshing.
they weren't even hiding that. They were just like,
It's
it's
like
interesting. I don't know where to.
it's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, it's when they were cutting off. Yeah,
Like wow, wow.
I really, I don't know. I really wish we would have seen like a little bit more of an X-Men Red angle to all of this instead of it just being that cut and dry. But like, that issue in particular, I thought a lot was happening there. I think Teeny Howard is so great at world building and creating a situation. And it's, you have someone like Betsy who is in an opportunity to speak about this. But for me, what I really loved was obviously seeing Shatterstar coming back with Richter. That was,
That
I
was
thought,
great.
a really cute ending.
That was Nightcrawler being drunk and horny and grabby. He was super
Oh
grabby.
my
I
god,
thought it was like
so grabby.
I was like, Kurt, you're lucky that everyone knows you and that you're adorable. Otherwise, you would get so many allegations. You would be like, bro, you are a council member. You cannot be going. You are not a Kennedy. You can't.
What are
You
you
can't be
doing?
all. You can be all
That's going to be the
flipping
name of
all
this memoir.
blueberry muffin.
Oh my god, I love that. No, I agree with you. Well, and also he kind of did he out Megan's
True.
pregnancy? Did he?
I know nobody was around,
Oh, okay, I
so
got you.
he's like, what? Oh, that's me. Like I'm like, yay, Kurt. Another something no one's gonna remember because you're adorable. Like
Oh,
that's
Kurt.
kind of messed up, but it kind of showed that he's really on it, even when he's drunk. He's
Yeah.
like, but the bot, John Paul and Kyle caught that too. So and what was what they did with Pete Wisdom?
Oh yeah.
Like,
What?
why? It's like all this. The one joke about Excalibur I find is all their issues with the government would be resolved if Brian Braddock were to just step up. He's were like, you know what, I'll do it. Like they're met like that's I'll take it. All right, I know. It's like they ain't ready.
No,
Like it could have happened with X of Swords. That could have been resolved if Megan would have said, "I give you the pass." And now with the government, like Megan would have been cool with it. She would have been like, "Just please don't have a kid with her. Please
oh
work,
my god.
please." But
Yeah.
Saturnine, she would have done something and made it like, "Oh no, I have a child now." But
Oh, Saturday Nine would have been so theatrical about everything.
oh god, like remember
I
how
mean, I'm not gonna lie, I loved her in Ten of Swords quite a bit. Um, I wish she just would have been consistent, towards the end. I didn't like all like the challenges or tournaments. Like I was expecting Mortal Kombat, but with the X-Men. That's what I really was expecting. Not like a spelling bee where Magic doesn't know how to spell magic. And I was like, really?
Ileana was raised on a farm in Siberia. We can't expect her to know how to read.
Fair, fair, fair.
Like I'm really surprised that Colossus can count to 10. Just say it. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
Colossus. We did a spotlight for Colossus Power of X-Men a few days ago, and everyone's just like our Russian sad boy, and like all these emo memes were being sent to me because of him. Colossus is just so precious. He's so strong, but so precious.
He's so great. And he looked good. He looked good.
I'm
I'm like,
surprised he didn't get more of a spotlight in the Hellfire Gala, considering the internet broke with that look that came out.
I seriously, I'm like, okay, why isn't Russia really like really going in like, see, this is what we want, and this is our men. No.
This is our poster child here. Yeah. No, even if, I will take it some further, and even Krakoa, you manufacture that
Like
status.
make a mod like Jomo Carnation must have loved like, I want you back. Return to me. Okay, moving on. What was next? Sword. Probably the second. It's on the top. It's like for the best
I love
because
Sword.
Sword
The
is a
Al Ewing book and the Valerio Shiti art. I think it's beautiful. I love this book so much. I love it. So this Hellfire Gala issue was perfect.
Al Ewing is a perfect Marvel writer. He knows the lore. He doesn't need to create new characters. He's like, okay, we can take people from that. Okay, I'm using this one, and this one, and that's great. At Abigail Brand, I just love her.
I
I
love her too.
like. I really want to see how she feels about Beast because they we have not
They
seen
had the movie.
that. And last I heard, she was pregnant.
Oh,
Yeah, but
right.
she told Magneto like, "Oh, like in a roundabout way that she was pregnant, that it was
Yeah.
twins, and not to tell him," which is a weird trope in X-Men. We have all these women who have children but never tell the fathers. Legion's mother did it. Colossus has that lady in the Savage Land who has like that 6-year-old.
Yeah.
That's weird. Madeline Pryor left without telling Cyclops that she was a clone, which is really weird because Sinister is technically Scott's father-in-law. Think about
Oh, boom.
it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
It's
And also, it's the X-Men love soap opera. I mean, that's what the core of the X-Men are. It's all about some of those melodramatic like plot points. And I think Hickman said this in reference to the Summers family, like you're coming in to see the drama and that dynasty. You know what I mean? The Summers family dynasty and all those moving parts. So but I agree with you wholeheartedly on that read.
I love the
It's
summer. Just like all right. If I would be so honored if I was ever invited to the Summers house. I'd be just like, Scott, you are the motherfucking man. I'd be hugging everyone like, who is this guy? Like he knows it. He knows us. I'd be like, Rachel, really? You need to talk to Jean about getting your mom pregnant with you. Okay, you need to get on that really fast. And Cable, go see your grandfather. He misses you. You weird little weirdo. Old man Cable and Corsair, that is a missed opportunity. Hopefully we can get that down. Oh, so how do you feel about the Summers? Like, you okay? Oh, okay. Come in. All right. You're okay. All right. Okay. So, Sword. I really noticed that. Oh, okay. I can't hear you. Say something.
my connection's pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, my
Okay.
connection's a little bad, but you're coming in and out. I can hear you, and I'll comment once things get a little stable.
Okay. Cool. With Sword, I really noticed that the Wakandans are like gaslight, are blocking Krakoa at every turn. It's weird. It almost seems intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, I really want somebody in Krakoa to like, well, fuck you then. We don't need you, Wakanda. Like we're doing the same thing you are, and you're blocking us out. How is
Yeah.
like you should be right there with us. Like we should be
Well,
a team, but like
and I love that scene from that scene from Ten of Swords with Shuri and Storm was so beautiful,
Yeah,
and I think
great.
could hopefully bridge that.
We don't know how Wakanda feels about mutants, though. They say they're okay, but the only mutants we've seen out of there is Gentle. So, how do we know that if Wakanda mutants are being genetically screened at birth?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is a very valid point.
Oh, come on.
Let's see. Oh my
Ah.
God! You know what? I'm such a stan of that relationship, though. I love both of them together. So,
No, you know what though? They broke up. She should not go back. You move
but no,
forward. You never go back.
no, they broke up in AVX, and that was not a satisfying way of ending a marriage. I did not like it when you're like, you stubborn man. This is why we have a guidance or a marriage counselor, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Okay, all
nothing
right.
wrong with them being married. I don't know. I'm such a
No.
I
You're
love
right.
Storm.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The way they did it, but I'm like, you know what? I would think Storm needs to let him sweat it out a little bit. Let him see that she has options. Like, I don't know, how much of a flex would it be if she was to be rumored to be with Magneto? That's a flex. That's a huge flex.
That is a flex.
So, Xavier, no, Xavier. That's like dating your dad, but
Ugh.
I mean, anything. She needs to, or she just could just get with Wolverine, and like that's gonna piss Black Panther off because he always calls him the troll. He's like, oh yeah, hey,
Well, he looked.
the goddess and the troll. Oh, but she needs to stay with Krakoa. I'm okay with it. Story is somebody new.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? You know
But
the only thing I'm worried about having Storm as like the sole regent. I be forgotten. I'm sorry. I know I'm coming in and out. I don't want her to be forgotten about.
no,
Top
they can't.
three X Men. Like if you're gonna have the X Men, you need to have Storm Wolverine.
See, we do have a
Cyclops.
Wolverine. We got Laura. We got Laura there. We got Scott there. Like we got a team there. Uh, we got a whole new crew of X-Men coming, but we know there's going to be an eighth person because anytime they have 7 members, an eighth person always comes in to fills the round out the team. We've seen this. I just wonder who it's going to be. Okay, so what was the last? All right, who's the last one? X Corp is just hilarious, but it feels like it should be a Marauders book. New Mutants. Oh, okay. All right. So, New Mutants was good. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. And that ending though. X Corp was hilarious. X Corp is basically, hopefully that's a limited series. So Sword was amazing. I've okay. Oh,
Sorry
hey.
about that.
No, it's cool.
I did airplane mode off, and hopefully I think it fixed the connection because I such had full service. But yeah, no. What I was trying to say was, no, I love that Laura is Wolverine, and I love her on the Krakoa X Men. I just think with Storm, my worry is that they're going to put her too far off, that she won't be part of the larger X Men narrative. And for me, when I think of X Men, Storm is like top 3, like icon. Her, Logan, Cyclops, like those 3, it's like the Trinity, and I love Storm so much, and I love that she's our sole regent.
I love Storm too, but I was her biggest critic because I always thought like Storm's not a good leader; she's just a popular leader. Because for every time you say, "Oh, she led the X-Men," the Morlocks, you can't. That's a big loss on her record. And
The
then
poor
there,
Morlocks.
and then there's all those little times he was a kind of a sociopath, like the time she sent Wolverine to kill Marrow because like she didn't want Marrow on the team, and I thought that was, I thought like, wow, that's some bitch shit.
That's
That's
some
some
dark.
Mean Girls. That's some Mean Girls stuff. Thankfully, Cannonball was there to to be and Marrow kicked Wolverine's ass. Just saying.
She was another one who should have made it on the team. I hope they have bigger
Oh,
plans for Marrow.
Marrow would be amazing on Hellions.
Oh, she would fit in. I have faith that they have plans for the X-Men or the mutants that were up to be voted for. I have faith.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, okay. Also, all right. I have a theory about Hellions.
Well, let's hear.
Psylocke is like, yeah. I think after Sinister told Psylocke like about, oh, I have your daughter. I think she went to Magneto and said, "Hey, this motherfucker's trying to do something," and then like, all right, lean into that, make it seem like you need her, and then so you can learn more about her, and learn more about Sinister and what he's doing, because that's the best way to get Sinister. Make him think you're working for him, and
I agree.
also,
Play to his ego.
yes, Havoc too, because there's a reason he's on this team. They could have easily just like helped him out with his
The access stuff.
That's an easy fix. They want him on the team. They want him as the unknowing camera, just in case Psylocke actually goes over with Sinister.
I
It's
agree.
It's
That's a really great theory.
Yeah, and also Sinister, don't trust him. Like they know they like kill him now. Put two in his head, and no one. And somebody like, oh, you killed Sinister. Like, yeah, he had it coming.
He had it coming. Yeah,
Like,
I don't. The thing is, like, they exiled Sabretooth for far less, crimes.
he
And
killed people. He was told not to. That's like you say, hey, don't eat chocolate at this chocolate store, and you're like, I'm gonna eat this chocolate. You're gonna get consequences. There are consequences to these actions.
But Sinister needs to be stopped. But yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. What were you saying about Psylocke?
Oh no, I was gonna say, if I just keep thinking, if I was at that council, I would have busted out him like, this manipulative degenerate motherfucker over here has a clone farm with Arcade Mastermind. You better watch him. Like, and also Mystique, you better watch her, okay? Because she's on some crazy shit. She thinks, oh, because I need Destiny in my life. You don't need her. You guys were barely together. You say, oh, that's my wife, but I don't see a certificate. Rogue's never seen you guys together like that. Just saying. Like
I am a huge Destiny fan. I was a fan of Destiny.
It's crazy though.
Back when what God, I'm gonna date myself. Back in like 1995. Can you hear me? Yeah, 1995. I was such a huge fan of Destiny. I think Mystique, they're really making Mystique the hero of her own story, because the thing with Mystique question came in. It's about time Storm had a child. I think I saw.
Yes. Who's the dad though? That's an election.
She has a daughter from an alternate timeline that we saw in Battle of Atom.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count until a pregnancy happens.
But with Destiny and Mystique, like I feel that relationship. I felt that relationship since I was a kid. I'm excited to see where it's going. I mean, it's certainly, because when you see a Mystique story, you're like, oh, Mystique's gonna fuck everyone over because she's a bad person and she's manipulative. Yeah. But here, I think they're showing you why she would do something like that. So let's see where it goes.
All about herself, though. I mean, she has her kids. Like Rogue and Nightcrawler are both on the island. She's like, hey, don't you want to reconnect with your children? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, can you just imagine, like, the holidays and, like, Nightcrawler would have to drag Rogue and Gambit there because they don't want to be there. And Gambit the entire time, like, didn't she stab you one time? And didn't she shoot you? And didn't she throw you off a waterfall? Like, yeah, but, she's my mom.
And Gambit's like, I slept with her once when she was pretending to be
Like,
a
yeah,
student.
like also didn't she impersonate a 17-year-old girl to try to break up our relationship because she thought you weren't good enough for her? Like, yeah, basically.
Check, check,
And
check.
also, I think she's part of the reason why Iceman went over to the other team. After it was so bad.
What? What happened? What? What was that relationship again? It was during Utopia, was it?
Um, yes, it was. No, it was around the time of the school, right before Utopia,
Oh,
uh,
oh
right before
yeah, yeah.
Messiah. What that was
Oh,
so
you're
good.
right.
Rogue had such a strong team. Like, you looked at her team, like, yeah, that's Rogue, all right. Yeah, she picked her team. Um, but with Sword, I learned DTK. Don't trust Kree. Don't
No.
trust it. It's like this because all right. First of all, they made the brood egg, so essentially they created the brood as a way to take over other galactic civilizations. Can't trust them at all, and that's pretty much a good thing. That's pretty much it.
Sort. I mean, let's see where everything goes. I think they're supposed to be positioning humanity, the mutants, everything within a galactic council, and
Good.
I think it's going to be fun. I think it. I have an open heart to it, and I thought the ending with the Pretender and Magneto hugging each other.
Oh,
Obviously, we know what happens next. But that was great. It was a wonderful way to end everything.
all right. We're gonna skip over Wilberforce because he's stripes. Um, Way of X, that was fun. Um, I'm getting tired of Legion's daddy issues because technically Xavier never knew about Legion at all because his mom kept him a secret. He even married another guy.
Yeah.
So like you can't blame somebody for not knowing. You got to know where to look. You have to have the idea of what's going on. Like, and Gabriel Hall was in his past. He was focused on the X-Men. He wasn't thinking about her.
That being
That's just
said, though, I mean, Xavier. I mean, Cyclops. Probably has similar issues. We can cite AVX. I don't think Xavier. I think Xavier, and I've always said this. I think is a great figure for a movement. An ideological
yeah,
dead figure.
yeah.
I don't think he works well actually doing the movement. I think
What?
so.
Come on, man. That's not fair. He took the original 5.
I don't know. Yeah, and then he he trapped Danger in the Danger room. Um, and
Fair.
do you remember those thoughts he had about
Jean
Jean
Grey.
and those?
Oh, come.
I was like,
It was a
but I
thought.
get it. I It's a thought. I mean, and Jean is, but Jean is a student in this situation. I don't know. I just feel
No,
like
I get it.
I love the X-Men when Xavier is around. I particularly love it. I do think, by the way, though, I think we saw in Morrison's X-Men what a great leader he can be. But it does take a certain writer to write that,
Scott
and
Lobdell
show it.
did that really well.
Yeah.
Lobdell did that
Yep.
amazingly. But ever
Mhm.
since uh after Morrison, they've been making Xavier feel like he's so shady. Like he's everything like he's controlling everybody's. I'm like, come on. Really?
Yeah.
He's rich. He
Yeah.
doesn't need to do that. Like
Yeah.
he, I mean, like the whole thing was Xavier was the nice guy, Magneto was the prick.
Yeah.
That was their whole thing. But now it's kind of like DC and Marvel. Like when you're a kid, you like Marvel, but as you older, you start like, you know what? Maybe DC's not so bad.
Yeah. I agree with that analogy. But like I think the last issue where Mystique comes out and she's like, "Can I get what about my wife?" And they're like, "What about your wife?" I'm like, "That's purposely cruel." You know what I mean? Like I feel a little I know, yeah. But I felt like Xavier's supposed to be a little bit more what's what I'm looking for here, empathetic and one-on-one with mutants. I
Right.
don't think he would purposely be that cruel and service a larger agenda. That being said, though, I mean, Nimrod coming online, the stakes are high. So,
See,
so he's doing what needs to be done, but he's come across very cruel, to your point, and it makes me like, I wonder what's going on, what's brewing under that helmet.
you know what? You say cruel. I call it justifiably petty because
Well, he's
because
married to Mystique. He's married to me. We found out.
yeah,
At
yeah,
the
he
he was
was
married to Mystique.
he was married to Mystique. But also, remember all the times when Mystique was petty, super petty? Like, she killed. All right, I remember one time she stabbed Banshee in the throat and left him for dead.
That
Why?
was, oh my god, I can picture that in my head. I mean, and she
Hey,
didn't even just like stab him somewhere. She went for his money trade, right
right,
there. Like
right
she
here.
went for there. Oh, poor Banshee.
And I was like, yeah, yeah. I like you. Honestly, knowing everything about Mystique, I'm just like, you kind of have to do her like that. You kind of
Yeah.
have to like, and like I know it's mean, but you gotta you kind of have to make her suffer a little bit, just a little bit, because I mean I know Kurt would never want it, but she threw him off of a goddamn waterfall to save herself.
Yeah.
Wait,
Not. Well, that's so.
no
I
more.
like. I've talked about that with other people, and I agree. It's like I think Mystique's journey right now, a lot of people are seeing her perspective and, like myself, are rooting for her to get Destiny back and everything. But this should not absolve her of all the terrible things she has done time and time again. So,
She killed
let's see where it
Moira.
goes. It's true. I wonder how.
No, no,
I
no, no,
can't
no, no,
wait.
no, no, no. Before, like in this time,
Oh, no.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I
back in the
cannot
Claremont,
wait. Yeah, I
like back in the
cannot
Claremont.
wait.
Oh, yeah. Like honestly, the whole thing with Moira saying there are no precogs, I kind of get it.
Well,
I
I hope
realize
it's a personal. I hope it's personal. I want Moira to be like,
it
no
is personal.
precogs, because Destiny burned me in life number, whatever life number was, and then Mystique supposedly, we'll see how they do that retcon, but Mystique supposedly is responsible for my death in this timeline. Like,
I
I'm
mean,
being petty myself, and
I mean,
that would fit into the melodramaticness
I
of
mean,
the X Men. We'll see where it goes.
I mean, like in Moira's mind is like this one, uh, this bitch burned me alive, and her wife killed me in this timeline. Fuck both of you.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like, no, no, no. Both of you go to
My
hell. I don't care about. I
I
don't care.
I want to see. I see Moira's perspective, and I really want to see how they're gonna have everything play out.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Kurt and Rogue are like,
very curious about it.
I mean, like Kurt and Rogue, like, I mean, hey, but all right, now, uh, oh, I asked you a question, or like, who is one character that you would bring back, and how would you bring it back?
Well, it's hard because who's MIA right now? I'm
We
trying to
haven't
think.
seen a lot of the human allies like Peter Corbeau or Stevie
Oh, you're right.
Hunter.
Oh, I
We
love
haven't seen
Stevie
Ellery
Hunter too.
Cooper. We haven't
Oh, we
seen
haven't.
we haven't even seen Nurse Annie.
Okay, I do love Nurse Annie. So
Nurse Annie was a racist.
Nurse Annie and Carter need to come back because at the end, when they're leaving,
Yeah,
Carter, who's her son in the back, their eyes are there. That was supposed to be Cassandra Nova.
yeah.
I want to see how that entire plot gets resolved. Yeah, Annie was a weird mutant racist. For those of a lot of people don't know who Nurse Annie is, but
It's
she was
weird.
a nurse with the X Men for a very short period of time. She had very angry views on mutants, but
Oh no. She had selective.
yeah, you're right.
Selective. And she would clown other mutants. Like she was telling Husk. No, I'm sorry. She was talking to Archangel, who was in that relationship with Husk, and he's like, oh, he said Husk is in love with Chamber. He's like, a kid with no mouth, ew, and he was just, and Chamber is just like, this
Yeah.
bitch, I'm right here, like
Yeah.
I can hear what you're saying, and
It's
her kid was weird, like he essentially catfit, like that's wrong, right? Like
yeah. Oh, you know who? By the way, just Fish Boy. We haven't seen Fish Boy resurface
oh
yet.
yeah, because
And
Juggernaut's not there.
but like, so you know what? I think from that era, that Chuck Austin era, let's say Fish Boy. I think Fish Boy deserves his dues. I'm nothing against him.
Oh, he would make a really good diplomat for Atlantis.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Oh, and then the little mutant kid, that Cassandra Nova killed in X-Men Red, who is here like, she's here like, oh, you're so strong, um, and then kills him. Oh, and then also Wing from Astonishing X-Men, who was
Yeah,
cured and then committed suicide because of danger. I think he should come back too, but presumably they're all on the resurrection protocols. We'll see.
they're in the queue anyway. They're like your
They're in the
YouTube queue.
queue.
Like you're like, I'll get that eventually.
We'll get
Like
there
Ray's
eventually.
son, way they did
Who would you
Ray's.
bring back?
Oh, I would bring back. Oh man, you know what? Just for old time's sake, Robert Kelly, Senator Robert Kelly.
Wow, that's
Really,
a good one.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would really like to see where would he be, like because before he died, he changed his entire perspective on mutants. So like, would
he
he
did
be an
180.
acid? Would he be a like? Would he be against Krakoa? Like, I really want to see why humanity doesn't like mutants. It comes off as insecure and jealousy. It just comes off
Yeah,
as jealousy. Like, it's weird. Like,
yeah. But
also,
I'm curious if so he died at the same time with Moira. Let's see where that story comes. Maybe I doubt Senator Kelly somehow lived and has been in secret this entire time. But let's see where they go with it.
hey, you know, Shi'ar golems, they can make they can make a lot of. I'm just saying, like,
What is
I
a
mean,
Shi'ar Golem though? I don't know what that is still.
all right. The way I kind of put it together is like basically a represent kind of like an avatar, somebody who
Got it.
looks like you, and like if they die, like it's kind of like how Loki in the movies, like he'll have like illusions. That's what it is. Like
I gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah, like Moira is we. Oh, Moira, I just don't know. Like
I've heard
oh
so many conflicting point of views on Moira this week. Um, so I don't want to come across like hypocritical or anything when I say or agree with what people are saying. I, I've had some people who've said, and I like this perspective, which was they loved Moira as being an ally of mutants and that allegory, that you can draw with LGBTQIA plus individuals and their communities, and then Moira. But I got to tell you, when I first saw Moira revealed as a mutant, I was very happy and surprised by it. Like it was because I think it also elevated her status really quickly within the books. I mean, she literally in one issue went from being dead to being one of the architects of the X-Men. And
absolutely,
that is a testament to Hickman's writing and positioning.
absolutely. The way with Moira, like I kind of all right. A lot of you like people with the LGBT. There's so many letters.
Oh, go ahead.
LGBT, like the plus community. Shorthand. It's not. I'm not coining it. I'm looking at it as a black man. Like I'm looking at like, all right, Moira was okay. She was she was kind of like, the ally. Like she's like the white friend who knew like, and like Xavier. Okay, in my head growing up, I always thought the X-Men were black. They were just talking about black people. Xavier was Martin Luther King. Magneto was Malcolm X. And that whole there was one scene in one of the movies where Charles said, "Not everybody's like Shock," and a Magneto counter, and not everybody's like Moira.
Yeah.
Moira, and I always like with her being a mutant is like Whoa, she was passing this entire time.
Yeah.
Wow. And
And that is a really interesting perspective too. And by the way, I love growing up as a gay man too. I thought the X-Men too were about, the LGBTQIA plus community, and it's a testament to how well it was written that you can have those metaphors for
yeah,
X-Men. I think it's why it resonates so much. It's why we have been an hour and 10 minutes here talking about the X-Men in such
really?
personal ways, because it spoke to ourselves. And man, I grew up soy cubano. I'm a first generation American, and the idea that you can like draw these parallels between these minorities and feel that struggle and that political oppression. I mean, the greatest enemy of the X books, especially in the cartoons, was the U.S. government, and
Just cool. Like
and
they,
people, just normal humans.
like
It's
I
so powerful. And but anyways,
no.
but with
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. You just got me thinking about like thinking about like if they really wanted to show humanity, uh, why they don't like mutants, but do it in like a non-racist way. It's really easy.
yeah,
This is the way I do it. Like I'm a filmmaker in my head, so this is the way I look at it. Like make these little short documentary docu type little films on YouTube, black and white, and just have people who've been victims of mutant collateral damage. Like have one say like this one guy I met up in New York. Um, he made me do things and for like years, and you find out it was Mastermind. It's like, oh, we seen him, it's Mastermind. Or like, oh, this guy killed my brother. Oh yeah, that was Magneto. Yeah, we know it was Magneto. We have witnesses. So things like that, like show that like they're scared, but it's only because like
well, kind of like what they did with the Avengers in the was it Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man was it? I think it was Spider-Man: Homecoming, where it shows like, hey, there's a lot of people who suffer,
yeah,
when the Avengers fight and punch things, and
yeah.
people are victims of superheroes in New York. It's it's interesting. I'm curious where the X books are going to go. I think the only, not to be a contrarian or anything, but I think what they've shown with humans now is that they are no longer. And by the way, I think Imperious Rex just texted to
Mhm.
see if we were still chatting, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't want to switch because I'm on my phone. I can't switch, but like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we are. Imperious Rex joined. But I think what's curious, like what we're seeing now with mutants, is that they weren't necessarily the next stage in evolution. They're almost like an off ramp that leads nowhere, and humans are destined, because of the failings and extraterrestrial, are destined to surpass mutants. And I think that's really interesting. I think that's a very fun perspective to start playing around with. That it's more about it kind of reminds me of Cassandra Nova in New X-Men 1, where they were talking about like Homo sapiens versus the
Like caveman.
Neanderthals.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and now we're seeing that with mutants now, and it's certainly a really fun point to be in. But let's see where it all goes. I have faith that Hickman. Everyone has said this about Hickman. Hickman knows how to land a plane.
Yeah.
Hickman is a good writer. Everyone we've spoken with, be it a comic book seller to editor of the X books himself, Jordan D. White, have all said Hickman is such a great guy. He's a great storyteller. He understands the industry. I think he's going to give us a really good story, and I
Hey,
can't wait to see where we're at next.
hey, that's why I'm loving it. Like I was
That's why we're
my
here talking.
yeah, like yeah, exactly. My faith was shaken for like a day, but then I read X-Men. I'm like, all right, I'm back in. All right, I'm back in because like the stories were kind of slow, and I was like, you know what? If this story doesn't really hit the way I wanted to, I may just put it down for a while. But after like the gala and everything, I'm like, yes, all right. It's like you find out like, all right, I'm in love again. I'm loving it. I'm in. But what you said about humanity, it made me think about what Apocalypse said back in 104, issue 4, when he asked, when that American ambassador asked, like, okay, what ended the Bronze Age? And he said, me. I think in order to stop, in order for mutant to really, really get on top, they need to shut down like technology on the human level. They really need to just stop it. Like get. All right, I'm not saying like, well, yeah, actually, shut down all
this
technology.
is a fight about technology.
Yeah.
Sorry, my reception is shoddy again. But
it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're seeing them fight against Nimrod, Orcus. I agree. I 1000% agree with the statement.
Yeah, and I wonder, do all these organizations know that they're are they aware of each other? Does Xeno know about Orcus? Does Orcus know about Horde Culture? Does Horde Culture know about the Reavers? Like what's good? Like it seems like they're all just trying to hit them all at all sides, and it's weird. You would think Imperius. All right, we have a very special guest. You call him Namor. Some call him Aquaman. He's a great man. He's a smart man. Some may call him a Superman. But I call it Imperius Rex.
Hey, what an intro. Wow.
Imperius Rex himself.
Oh, I'm right next to this duck. Powered by StreamYard.
Right. Yeah, we're all a bunch of quacks here.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, man, we're just talking X-Men.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, still on X-Men, huh?
Oh, no, we're wearing black after hearing what happened today. Like,
oh yeah.
Jeez. I mean, oh, okay. Imperius Rex.
You can call me Dave. You can actually call me Dave.
Okay.
But Imperius Rex is the show title.
I love the title, though.
Thank you.
You can say it for anything. Like, who came by? Imperius Rex! Yeah, he's a nice guy.
That's right.
Okay, so how have you been feeling about the Hellfire Gala, like top to bottom, like just your thoughts, like highs, lows?
Oh man, well it kind of jump-started my love of X-Men again. It's been a while since I was really into it. Like I got into it again for Hoxpox because I'm a big Hickman fan.
Nice.
And that was probably the first time in years that I was buying like weekly comic issues again because I'm normally like a trade guy.
Mm-hmm.
And after COVID hit and everything kind of died down. I wasn't buying them a whole lot lately, and then when this Gala's kicked up, I was like, oh man, this looks like a lot of fun. I think I want to get in on this. So I dove in, caught up. I think I'm almost completely up to speed on almost all the peripheral titles as well.
Right.
Yeah, I just finished the last X Factor at work today.
What was your reaction to that ending?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna get into that.
I have so many emotions. I have so many complicated emotions about it.
Okay. Also, Imperius. Dave. I'm sorry, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you earlier. All right, if you were to bring back an old character, who would you bring, and how would you bring them in?
Oh man, you know what? Someone I would love to see jump into like a main X-Men book would be Morph, because Morph, yeah, well, yeah, I guess Changeling. I like the cartoon is one of the things that really got me into X-Men as a kid, and I liked that character even though he was only in like one episode. But then I liked that he came back as like evil Morph and all that, and when he popped up in Exiles as like a completely different character, I'm like, you know what? Let's bring Morph into the main continuity here. I could go for him. I don't know how you'd bring him in, but I feel like that's a missing piece of the puzzle right now.
The X-Men election. That would have been crazy.
Well, can you imagine if they would have done the election and they're like, oh, everyone voted for a mutant who hasn't been resurrected yet.
Yeah.
Let's go resurrect him right now. Whoops.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, also, what would you have been doing at the gala? Like, would you have hung out with other people? Would you have gotten into altercations? Would you have gotten sloppy drunk?
Oh man, I think I would have tried to play it pretty cool. I've been to a few of these banquets, and you don't want to be the people that are like hugging and hanging on everybody by the end of the night.
All right.
So, you know what? I wouldn't mind just chatting up Cyclops. I feel like he's got some stories to tell. Jump between him and Logan. Be that middle ground between the two.
Say like, hey, Scott, how's it feel to know that Wolverine's always going after your leftovers?
Yeah, yeah, and vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're all right. Let's go into Cable first. We're not going to get into X Factor just yet. It's like I've been really liking Cable, because everybody's been saying, "Oh, we have this kid Cable. Where are we going to get old Cable?" Like, no. If you're a fan of Doctor Who, like I am, you know exactly where this is going. You know he's about to go. He's about to jump into the future in order to close that time loop, and I'm here for it. I'm like, and also it's really funny. You just got to really catch the tones, like anything with Ileana with Cable, great. Just all right. How do you guys feel about it? Like with it ending, and what does it mean going forward?
Is there one more issue left of Cable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, one more.
All right. I am not up to speed on that, so I'll let Dayspring jump in there. But feel free to spoil away. It's all right.
I loved it. I was so excited to see Zaddy Cable come back and hatch out of that egg. I love how he said hi to everyone except for Scott and Jean, because he's like, fuck you.
I mean, I think that's more of a Scott thing, because like Scott basically said, I don't want the old you year because the old you makes me feel awkward. The fact that he's older than me, like, and Jean, we never see how Jean talk about anything. I want to see a talk about Madeline with Cable. I always like, listen, this is about your mom.
Yeah, let's, and I thought, I'm sorry, you were cutting in and out for me because I'm traveling, but like they kept the techno organic virus in check. That's fine. I was okay with that. Like, they have to explain it, and it's a visual cue for Cable. I'm excited. Let's see where it goes. I've been a fan of the Cable series. I love Teen Cable with the Cuckoos. I think that just gives a lot of great plot for Emma and Scott, and fits in with the whole like Summers family dynasty fucked up history shit. So I'm excited. Let's see where it all goes. I want a big Summers family dinner at the end, though. I want like all of them together, like we saw in the first issue of X-Men.
Yeah, that would be great. I want more of that.
Yeah, more conversation.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. More conversations. I'm sorry. I jump in.
No, I was. We just finished up reading X of Swords, so I'm way behind on that. I was binging that while I was actually reading the week to week of the Hellfire Gala, and there's a lot of great Cable moments in there, because I'm not super familiar with young Cable, but I love observing some of the other characters' reactions to things he does, because they only know him as old Cable. Like when he's just like clowning around and he cuts himself on a glass and he's like sucking his thumb, and he looks up and Apocalypse is just looking at him like, you dumb shit. Like, this is the guy that's been giving me so much trouble in the future, and he's just this imbecile here as a teenager. I like all those moments, and I'm excited to see more of young Cable, which was not a character that I thought I needed or wanted, but I've actually really been enjoying his stuff. And I love the artwork by Noto, too.
Oh my God, Phil Noto is such a great artist.
Oh, man.
I had to get used to him, because I thought his stuff was really kind of like plain toast. Like, there's no oomph into it, but like, by the time you got to that issue with Domino, where Cable's hanging out with Domino, they're like, okay, all right, I'm into this now.
Yeah, it almost has like an animated feel to it for me. Like, it's such a clean, sharp look, that I've come to appreciate that as opposed to like a super overly rendered look. I feel like it's kind of I don't know if I would pick it for the character of Cable without knowing that going in, but I like the artwork on it.
It reminds me, his work reminds me a lot of the Dodsons.
Yeah, yep.
Where it's exactly what you just said, Dave, where it's like, it may be like cartoony, but there's something very clean about it. And I don't disagree with you when you were talking about it looking a little bit more like bland or like toasty. Like there's some facial expressions I'm like, I just need a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So now let's get into the meat of it.
All right, bring it, Gray.
X Factor. I loved it. I thought the hate crime thing was a little weird because we saw no indication of that going like from the jump. Like I was like, oh, okay. Like it's nice that we were reminded that this stuff still does happen in the Marvel universe. Because I always been kind of weird. I always wondered about that. Like, how are race relations in the Marvel universe? Like, are they all? Is everybody cool? Did civil rights things still happen, or did like superpowers really just kind of like, yeah, we don't need to worry about any of that racial stuff. Let's just focus on surviving together.
Yeah.
But iBoy is really cool. Like his powers are getting more and more visually fun to see. Like, just I love it. And North Star, I don't understand why he doesn't trust Xavier. Like when he's like, "Oh, can you tell us what's going on with iBoy?" No. That's okay. I can make you John Paul. Okay, I can make you. I don't need to be nice.
Well, presumably he has access. I mean, Xavier's the one who downloads all of the Cerebro mental scans, right? Or the captures, right. Whatever they call them in Cable. So it's like, yeah, I can just filter that data.
Right.
Right now. I don't know. We talked about it a little bit before. I mean, Xavier right now, he's being a little salty. So I wonder if Jean Paul is picking up on that. But I really, X Factor, I think I've said this before. I think Leah Williams is such a great writer. I mean, she can write characters so well, and I love the dialogue. It hasn't been my favorite book just because I feel sometimes the characterizations feel a little off for me at times. But this issue I thought was really great. I wish, and we're going to say it right now because I've been scared to say it on social media, that ending with Wanda being dead, like, I wish Wanda would have been a little bit more peppered into the story than just coming in last week. Because now it just feels a little left field for the sake of being left field. But I get it. That being said, I think it did exactly what we need. We need to be talking about it, and we need to be thinking what it means. And that's when Marvel did a good story.
Yeah.
Is this the first big drop of the episode? Is that the bombshell that everyone's been sitting on? Okay. All right. Yeah, I unfortunately went on Twitter this morning at like 9:30 and someone posted something about it. They're like, wow, Wanda and Steven both dead in the same year. And I was like, what's that mean? I flipped by it and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, are you serious? Like already? Like my comic shop isn't even open yet, guys. Come on. So I figured it was probably a Wanda thing. And then as I was reading it, I was like, is it going to be? Like, when is this going to happen? And then it's like literally the last page. Where I was like, oh, okay. This didn't really feel like it was that centered around that whatsoever. It was just a little bombshell at the end, to kick off the next thing.
All I'm going to say is Magneto innocent, #free Magneto. He didn't do anything. He did nothing wrong. Just because he has bloody gloves doesn't mean he did anything. I got bloody gloves. What? He has bloody gloves.
Let's see what the story is.
Also, what do you guys think the trial Magneto is going to be about? Because there's a couple implications. Because do they bring it? If they bring back Wanda, are they going to have to tell everybody about the resurrection protocols? Because nobody on Earth outside of Krakoa knows about that stuff. No one knows anything about Krakoa.
Yeah.
So, if they bring her back as a mutant, are they going to have to explain that? Or is Magneto going to have to argue for bringing Wanda back?
Well, here's a question. I mean, let's operate under the assumption that Wanda is not a mutant.
Okay.
Like, can they? I guess they can bring back non-mutants. You know what I mean? Like, okay, sure, that's fine. Yeah, and then they're gonna have to explain that. But it's this. What do I think the trial of Magneto is gonna be about? I'm wondering if they're gonna retcon the retcon. If we're gonna find out that Wanda is a mutant and she is entitled to mutant resurrection. I don't know.
Yeah. I had someone on our Imperious Rex Discord actually give a couple theories on this, and I thought, like, okay, that checks out pretty well. If I can get into a conspiracy theory idea here,
Please
do it.
He thought that maybe Magneto murdered Wanda so she could be resurrected as a mutant, and have her like pre-House of M, I guess, like have him download her from way back before Axis and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's essentially what you guys were talking about there. I was just thinking, I didn't really think of that. So Magneto would be tried still for those crimes, but he's doing it to get his mutant daughter back as opposed to the human one that has been.
Well, here's the thing, though, to jump on what you were saying, Dave. Like, the trial of Magneto. So they find out he did it or didn't do it, whatever the situation is, but he's being put on trial for it. We've seen mutant on mutant murder, and no one's been tried for it. They're trying him right now, presumably because she is human, and that is one of the laws against Krakoa, is killing men. Killing a human. I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting. I like what you're saying, Dave, because what if they do resurrect her? It's pre-House of M memories, and she has the X gene in her. That's going to be an interesting angle. I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, that Magneto has the agency to do that over Wanda and her memories, especially given Wanda's history and mental health, and how I think she is a really good story for that. But let's see. It could go either way.
Yeah, Magneto hasn't done anything really rotten for a while. I guess this would be more in tune with his character. Like, I guess he's due for something.
I don't think he's that bad though. Like, everything he's done has been kind of like he was pushed to it. Like,
oh yeah.
With Magneto though, if he brings her back, I think this will lead into Inferno, and this is my crazy theory. We're gonna get a bunch of people like Mystique or Havoc saying, "Oh, how is that fair? You bring back that human, but you can't bring back this person because because they're a liability." Like it's going to lead into Inferno.
Yeah, well, I think there was a lot more to that decision to not resurrect Madeline than we know, and I can't wait to see what that is. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm telling you, it was Jean. It was Jean. She's like,
exactly.
No.
Jean, like that, going, no, we're not resurrecting her. But fellas, I have to jump because we're gonna go through a mountain now in like 3 minutes. So I want to cut out. But I'll let you guys finish the conversation. Thank you, Gray, for having
definitely
on. And any excuse to hear Ghost Hunter Dave, because I think he is like the best, and thank you so much.
Oh yeah, we gotta do this again.
Thanks, Paul.
All right,
see ya.
See you.
All right, Gray. So,
hey. I'm Derek, by the way.
Garrett. All right, Derek. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Okay, so with Inferno, how do you feel about all the Hellfire Gala? Do you do you think it did everything it was supposed to do, and what do you think what do you think this means going forward?
Yeah, I think it definitely helped by hyping up the X-Men again, because I feel like maybe X of Swords was kind of wasn't poorly received, but I don't think it was what everyone expected it to be, and then we had a little bit of a lull for a while there where no big event was going on. And I certainly think Inferno is going to be the big event, but it was nice that we could just have this little like mini lead up to that. You know, it was just a fun time. One thing I like about this new era of X-Men is they're all having fun. It's like that's great to see, because they've been like persecuted, they've been the minority, they've been hated and feared for so long.
Turned
And I
on
feel
each
like
other.
yeah. Yep. And as a society, I think we've kind of grown, not everywhere, but as a people, I think we're acknowledging differences and what makes people special and unique. And I think this is a good time to embrace the uniqueness of the X-Men right now. So it's like, yeah, let them have their party, you know, and how they threw it as this big, like crazy Met Gala to the nth degree, where they have mutant designers and mutant fashion, mutant languages. It's like, absolutely, they would just throw like the wildest party ever, and it would be great.
Yeah, exactly. It and like the way that everybody's kind of humankind in Marvel, the way they were acting towards it, I just kept thinking, you guys would not be saying this if Wakanda did this. You wouldn't be saying this if Atlantis did this. You wouldn't be saying this if actually you would be saying it if Liberia did it. But there's a point to it.
Yep.
Like mutants have shown they don't need anybody else except themselves, and that scares everybody else. And it's weird. It's not a real fear. It's more just ego.
It really is. And watching all of the Marvel heroes and villains that attended the party, it's so interesting because no one knows what to think or what to expect. They're just all, even like Thor and Captain America, like they're just kind of like observing. Like, I don't want to get too much into this. Like Captain America and Doctor Doom are talking and they're finding common ground, basically to like stand against the mutants if it comes to that. Like everyone is just like, let's see how this pans out.
Oh wait, Doom! Every time I saw Doom, I was like, you know what? He is lucky I'm not there. Me and him would have fought. I would have called him an insecure nerd. And like, it's like, no, it's like, no. It's like people would have been trying to escort, like, hey, get your hands off me. Let me tell you, it would have been on World Star. Be like, man, he called Doom a nerd to his face. Namor would have been like, you know what? I like him.
That's
what it's all about.
Oh, for sure. I feel like Doom is going to definitely play a role. I mean, at this point, it seems like the entire non-X-Men section of the Marvel Universe is going to play a huge role in X-Men, because by uniting all the mutants, they're also uniting every human against them.
Right. It's weird. It is like, wow. Like Independence Day, the movie was right. All you do need is an outside force to make everybody come together. Like, you know what? We need to kill that person.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get more than, more than two people in a room, and they'll pair up and decide why they should hate the other one. It's just like human nature, I guess. It's unfortunate, but, and the bad thing is, like, the mutants are trying so hard to bend over backwards for humanity. They're like, all right, we're finally going to take our spot, but we'll do it over here. You guys keep on doing your thing. We're going to help you. We'll give you drugs to extend your life. We just want to be left alone and recognized as a nation, you know, and people just can't get behind that until they're forced to. I love it where there's so many moments in the early Hickman run there where they're just like, okay, we're going to ask nicely, but we're not really asking anymore. Like,
that's what you have to do, though. I mean, once again, Latveria, like, they do whatever they want. Doom does whatever he wants, and no one says a word. Everybody's like, wow, is this water? Wakanda, same thing. They come out when they want to. In Atlantis, if you want to talk about like prejudice, humanity should be hating Atlanteans, but no one says anything.
How many times have they attacked and invaded the Earth? I guess there's all the dangerous mutants, but like all of Atlantis is dangerous, and all of Latveria is dangerous. Like, the bad mutants are balanced out by all the good mutants. So, I mean, it really is like it's it's a total like minority type of thing where it's just this race or this species of people that just can't catch a break because they all get lumped in together as the bad ones.
It's crazy. All right, who would you hang out with on Krakoa if you were living on Krakoa and you were like, hey, my neighbor is this person, and like you guys end up being like meshing really well. Who would you think?
Oh man, that's a good one. I was gonna say I've always liked Nightcrawler, but he got pretty sloppy drunk there at the at the gala where I was like, Jesus,
Grabby.
Kurt.
Like
Yeah.
Night Grabby.
Yes. I think he'd be like your go-to friend if you need anything. He would bend over backwards for you.
Right.
I think Iceman would be a lot of fun. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in this new relaunch, have we? What?
No, Marauders.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I forget he's in that.
Yeah, everybody else does.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it would probably be some of the more easygoing mutants, I imagine. The new mutants, the Sextant would be pretty good there, I think. If Cannonball and Sunspot were ever around, but they're usually in space. But I think that would be a pretty wild crew to hang out with.
That would be so much fun. I would hang out with Omega Red, and we would bond over our hatred of Wolverine. I'd be like, that guy's a dick.
Oh yeah,
I know, right? But no, this like Omega Red would be really cool. I would like. I was like, hey, bro, not everybody's a dick. Here you go. I would just start like
I've become a huge Mr. Sinister fan, but I would just want to be around him. I feel like if I made too much of an impact, he would kill me and use me for parts or something. But I love the way his character is written right now. I think it's like the best version of Mr. Sinister you could imagine.
I would openly trash talk Sinister to his face. I would tell him I know what you're doing, and you better stop. I'm telling you, like, just do it again. And I'm telling, like, do it again. Everybody was like, oh, it's like, oh, Gray's right there. But they about to fight.
Just insult his cape. Those are fighting words.
Always. I'd be like, see, that's why Magneto doesn't even tell you about his cape guy. His cape guy. And
just show up with like 3 capes on capes, and just keep walking by his lair.
Oh, and also I would flex being friends with Magneto too. I'm like, to Cortez, like, big Magneto. Oh yeah, he's cool. He's awesome. He's so nice. He's such a great guy.
Oh yeah, Magneto has really been like one of the all-stars in this book too. Like, I've definitely followed X-Men, the main title, more than the others. There's more catching up I need to do, but I like how that one is really kind of focusing on Scott and Magneto is, I guess, as main a characters as you can have in that book that's constantly rotating. But just getting that other perspective of Magneto being a hero and finally like being acknowledged by his people as a hero is great, because you can see like he never has intended to be the villain. Everything he's doing for the betterment of his kind.
And he's the first person to go into it. And he's like, I'm the first one to do it. Like when he came up with Mars, he's like, hey, is everybody cool with this?
Yeah.
I'll start right away. Like, I'm like,
yep. Just gonna fly to Mars.
Hey, I'm okay with it though. He's the guy who's about what he sticks to his word. He's like, okay, I got stuff to do right now. I gotta get the team together. Absolutely.
When he almost single-handedly takes down the alien invasion from Empire, and he unites, I think, Iceman, Magma, and maybe someone else, and they almost do like a X-Men Ultimate Alliance video game thing there, where they're all like using their powers together, and I'm like, yes, I want more of that.
Right, and the way Magneto brought down that satellite, and he's like, hey, are you going to talk about the satellite? Yeah, they would have to acknowledge that satellite's actually there. So
and that one, he's just dropping satellite after satellite on this guy.
Like so we have next week we have X-Men 1.
Yeah.
Like, apparently our next big villain is going to be the High Evolutionary, which is interesting considering.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense in an X-Men storyline. I know very little about the High Evolutionary. I think he was in some of Hickman's Fantastic Four, maybe. But he's one of those like legacy characters that I know it was like from the 60s and 70s, and it's like I know of him, but I can't think of a whole lot of modern appearances. You know, he's not like an Apocalypse type of character where I grew up on him in various media.
All right. So to give you an idea, High Evolutionary is basically a more successful Mr. Sinister.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
like whereas Sinister, he focuses on one bloodline, in like mutant genetics. High Evolutionary kind of focuses on like everything else.
Hmm.
Mutates, human cow, human, like he created this whole like army of animal human hybrids. Like
Yeah, yep.
think like Beast Wars.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of that rings a bell, and I remember seeing. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense for what we're doing right now in X-Men. And is it Duggan who's writing
Yeah.
X-Men? He's taken
Yeah.
over.
Yes.
Yeah, as a Hickman guy, I'm really wondering, like, all right, what's his next project going to be? Because he's set up enough that he could just walk off, and they'd have 20 years worth of material to get into. But I don't think I hope he's not ready to go yet. I think he's probably got some big stuff after Inferno planned that they just haven't dropped yet.
Man, I hope so. Well, we know that he has Inferno coming, so I think we're gonna jump. I think he's gonna start another book afterwards,
Yeah.
or they do like giant size issues. I don't know. There's a bunch of ways he can go.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, he could start Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, he certainly could. That's one title that's missing right now, actually.
I mean, then Germish next, but you know, that's just me. I'm a But all right, so what is your favorite book right now? What you're like, I love this, right? Like, if it fulfills the promise.
Okay. Is this X-Men related, or can it be any? Okay, X-Men related. I'll have to go with like the main flagship title right now. I think that's the one that's consistently the most interesting to me. And a lot of it is because they can jump around. You know, it's almost like an anthology book where if you're not into one storyline, just wait till next month and it'll be a different one. And there's some that I'm not in love with, and then there's other ones where I'm like, that was a great issue.
Yeah, like the Brood.
Yes. Oh
that
yeah.
was so much fun.
Yes. And how abruptly it ends with Brood just eating the egg. Yeah, we had a huge laugh about that on our show. Where it's like, what? Just as matter of factly as you could imagine, I ate the egg.
I was hungry.
Yeah.
And how Brood found it, he's like, oh my, what is that? Oh, it's me treasure. Like,
yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you, crazy woman?
Yeah. And that is yet to really be followed up on either. Now Brew controls the entire Brood army.
Hey, I look at that like a weapon. Like if
if
the Kree or Squirrel ever get a little too jumpy, you know. Actually, you know, you don't need the Brood. You don't need the Brood for that. Just reveal that the Kree created the Brood egg as a way to destroy that entire alliance. You don't need to do anything. Just tell a Squirrel that, and then they'll look like, oh,
yeah,
oh, that's how you do.
Truce off. Yep.
King Teddy, you man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I expected. I mean, we kind of got something like that in the way that X of Swords ends, where they open up that parallel dimension on the Sword spacecraft and let all those aliens out. And I was like, oh, that could have just as easily been the Brood, you know? Like, if they needed a backup plan, just have them storm in.
Would you really have the Brood in Seoul right now? Like, no. If you call the Brood, you have to wait for them for like at least a week. And even then, a week is really pushing because, like, the brood's like having roaches in your house. You have one, there's like 25.
Oh yeah, and those giant whale ships that they fly in. Where are you going to put
Oh,
those?
Claremont, you crazy
Yeah.
bastard. You knew
What a strange species of characters they created, which I'm assuming had to have just been because Alien was hot at the time, and they're like, let's put one of those in our book. Like, you know
right?
what? Let's put a bunch of those in our book.
One thing I wish they would really do though, the Shi'ar. I want to know an honest portrayal of the Shi'ar because, like, I don't. As X-Men fans, we've been seeing the Shi'ar are really dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
they don't care about diplomacy. They don't care if you're an established planet. They will take you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I am really for. If I was on Krakoa, I would be trying to break up Sam and Smasher, Cannonball and Smasher.
Oh,
I don't like her. I don't
not
think
gonna end well. No, she's a career woman. She's
no, he's okay with oppressing other people.
yeah. Yeah.
In that X-Men story where they were helping out with the Shi'ar, Jean was like, "Oh wow, this is actually more of an uprising than a terrorist cabin." She's like, "Oh, okay, we're done here."
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that one. That one caught me so off guard by the artwork. That was like the most 90s X-Men.
Like, it's so weird. That's early 90s too. Like, I wasn't into it back then. Like,
No. Yeah, that was almost a precursor to like the big 90s X-Men explosion where they're all in the yellow and gold or the yellow and blue.
yeah.
Because these were like the weird X Factor costumes and all that. It's like, where did they pull those out of?
I want to see them comment on it. I want to see like Storm, Jean, and Cyclops all get together. It's like, wow, okay, I haven't seen those in a while. Like, yeah, I just wanted to do something better.
Yeah.
Jean would be like, it's nice to wear something where nobody can see up my dress, up my skirt.
Yep.
Like, it's like, yeah, I was meaning to talk to you about that, dude.
Yeah, the fact that they kind of they have like this rotating costume closet right now. It's like, well, yeah, I want to see them like get back into the Morrison leather jackets, get into all that stuff. Like, that would be fun if we're in the time right now where they're just like, you know what, I'm just whatever.
Whatever. Like,
it's going to be a visor and like the skull cap day, or it's going to be the neck sock or whatever.
That's so good. It was a fun sock though. That sock was fun.
Everyone, it was like a standard issue X-Men. As soon as you join the team, you get your neck sock. Gambit had it. Angel had it. They all had that weird 90s thing.
Dude, it's just like the X-Men are the best. I like all in all, they are just they're the best. No, like, it's not about a person with them. It's about the team. Like, and I feel like they're kind of saying. Claremont was trying to say something about society, about people. Like, we can't be individual. We gotta be more about the team. We are a team. We gotta work together. We gotta love each other in order for this to work.
Yeah,
and I think that's what the X-Men always kind of like. I always thought that's what they always been about. Like, they are family first. Like, I remember the 90s they did that a lot. They really showed that they were a family. Like, they would have issues where no violence happened and they were just talking. Getting together. Especially Onslaught back in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
The issue afterwards, it was a depressing issue, but it was just all the X-Men just like, it was a quiet issue where they were just getting themselves back together.
Oh yeah. Yep. And some of those are like the most standout X-Men issues too. It's like, how many times can you fight Juggernaut? But if you really need to like talk about persecution or something, like, yeah, that's something that's not going on in normal comic books right now. And then they still have time to play baseball or like decorate a Christmas tree, whatever they do.
Or just have a picnic and where they just all get together and they I remember for the when Cyclops and Jean first got married, Cable and his team got invited along with Havoc and his X Factor team. And Cable met up with Valerie Cooper and they were like, "Hey, it's nice to see you." and he asked her like, "Am I still on the FBI's most wanted list?" And she said, "Let's just say it's good that I didn't see you here."
Yeah.
I didn't see you.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to know their status. Like, how many of the X-Men have warrants? Like,
Oh.
and I was like, I want to see if you just get like Storm get arrested. Like, you're going to jail for lewd conduct. What? Yeah, you were flying naked.
Oh yeah.
Times.
Yep.
It's like, I'm the Regent of Soul. Yeah, well, you could soul your ass in jail. Oh man. But
yeah, there's not much out there like the X books right now. And the fact there's so many, I feel like there's a book and a character for everybody. You know, it's like, so you might not identify with Captain America. It's like, well, then you're out of luck as far as Captain America comics are concerned. But like the X-Men, it's like, yeah, pick which one you like, and then there you go. You know, and they give you so many different options. So
it is crazy. All right, wrapping up. This is thank you to Power of X-Men. Imperious, shout out to Imperious Rex. Dave, thank you for coming through.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me.
This is my first hey man, I'm glad you guys showed up. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Sorry, I was a little bit late there, but as I said, it was a fashionable late. To go in accordance with the gala.
I planned for it. I was like, hey, I'm glad we were able to get everything in sync.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is 1407 Great Mountain Lane, closing out the Hellfire Gala. This is going to be the last time we're going to be happy for a while because it seems like we're just going to get a bunch of tears.
Oh yeah, yep. But we're ready for it. Yep. No stranger to it.
All right, this is 1407 Great Mountain Lane. I'll see you soon.